attendance yan. Or another attendance. So 98, you are 99, 98.
Doc, others are still coming in pa lang sa Zoom. And the others are just using their mobile data because it's brown out daw.
Oh, brown out.
There are some, I think may nag-chat po na brown out doon sa kanila. That's why gumagamit lang siya ng data.
Oh, but it's very difficult. Even the PLDT is very slow.
Opo, Doc. Because there is a maintenance, I think. Oh, yeah. It was announced.
Okay. What time is it now? So we will start already 8:30. So we have to start. I thought I opened the WebEx. I made a mistake, so that's why it took me some few minutes. Mas na ba ako nakakita dito? Sunod yan. Sunod dito hain.
Yan, di pa rin. Wag din pa naka-share.
Share of Mira.
Oo, ano na, Doc. Nakikita niyo yung Mira.
Sige.
Hindi. Amo matunan niyo.
Right next. Gusto ko
Adin na, ginandam ko lang po.
gusto kong gamitin ko ang
headset?
Dire. Mouse. Parang di ba din. Next na ito. Na-start na ako.
Sige daw.
Start na lang. I'm ready. Pero sagad. Tapos handsome.
May katila ka first. I-click lang din.
Force na. Okay. So we'll take up. We'll start na, huh? I know some of you hadn't take your breakfast. Did you take your breakfast already? Some did not yet.
Not yet, Doc.
Paras tayo. Mag-breakfast tayo sabay-sabay dito. Paano tayo makakakain ng sabay-sabay?
After the class na lang, Doc.
After the class. While having classes, you eat. Anyway, it's okay for me. It doesn't matter.
Healthy egg lang, Doc.
Kayo. Diba? Okay, so we will take up functional anatomy, neuroanatomy, no? So, you know already, you're oriented with your brain. Nag-lecture na kayo ng anatomy, di ba? Kailan na nag-start pala ang classes nyo?
21, Doc.
21. Today is
25,
Today is 25.
20,
26.
26, Doc.
What are the classes that you had already? Anatomy pa lang?
Biochem and Physio, Doc.
Physio, anatomy.
Gross
Biochem, Doc.
ano.
Okay. So, okay, we'll just refresh you with the parts of your brain and the functions, later with regards to psychology or psychiatry or the behavior of man. Okay. So, you know already that you have lobes of the brain, you have your forebrain, midbrain. These are the overview, the protection and blood supply, the structure and function of a neuron, the synaptic transmission, and the neurotransmitters. So, nandito rin yung neurophysiology and neurochemistry. Maybe we can take up already here. So, you see the brain is the most complex organ of the body. It weighs 1,300 grams, contains billions of your nerves or your neurons. So that's why your behavior is very complex. It differs from human beings. That is because of your interrelation of your nerves. So you have your forebrain. Under your forebrain, you have your cerebrum, you have your cerebral cortex, you have your left and right hemispheres. So your left hemisphere is considered as for most people, it is the dominant hemisphere, responsible for production of language, mathematical ability, problem solving, and logic. So if you are having problem solving, in your subjects, so you try to remind yourself that it is the left hemisphere of your brain. So for your creativity and special ability, so it is your right hemisphere that usually function. So marami ang nag-function ng left hemisphere. So it is easier to remember when you have your examination. So madali tayo mag-exam, ilang what you call that, ilang topics lang, we will have your long quiz. So your quizzes will be conducted also here or in school or here also. How about your quizzes?
We don't have quizzes for the other subjects, Doc, but for the examination, it depends on the professor.
Okay. So paano ba yan? What are your suggestions?
Hello, Doc. This is Shasha po. Pwede po sa Canvas na sila mag-exam. That is online.
Sa Canvas na lang.
They are already enrolled, but some are just pending. I will let them know why it happened.
So paano yan sila makakatake?
Hindi, Doc, makakatake po. Chine-check na namin ngayon, especially on your subject po dito sa Canvas.
Okay. So just talk among yourselves on how others can join. Okay? Thank you.
Okay po, welcome.
So, your brain is very complex. You have your, the different parts of your brain. Here, your temporal lobe, your frontal lobe, your occipital lobe for your vision, your percentral gyrus, it's there. So you know already the functions of the different parts of your brain. Isn't it? Diba? Alam nyo naman lahat yung functions ng brain nyo. So your frontal lobe, you have your planning, movements, your memory, the recent memory, and your emotions. That is your frontal lobe. No? Your parietal lobe, usually your body sensations. No? Your parietal lobe at the top of your head. No? Your occipital lobe is at the back of your head. That is for vision. And your temporal lobe is for hearing and your visual function. Also a part of your visual function, because the most part goes to your occipital lobe. So among all, that is why your brain is very important, because they are the one that receives all information in order that they can process, in order that we can function, you know, in all our senses of our body, you know, as well as our behavior. So as I've already told you, your parietal lobe, it's located behind in your frontal lobe. Frontal is here, no? That is somatosensory cortex, spatial orientation. What is spatial orientation? Diba, spatial and how you copy the different shapes, no? How it is arranged, no? Then perception and comprehension of language function, recognizing object by touch. That is the function of your frontal lobe. Then it links your visual and somatosensory information together. So it is a part also wherein you forget something or you neglect something. So it is said that it links your visual somatosensory. So that's why when you see a fire, so and you touch you got heated, no? So you can see that it is a fire. You try to withdraw your parts of your body. So it links your visual as well as your somatosensory. So your temporal lobes, it is located at the side of your brain. No? So yeah, it's very easy to remember. Because it's there wherein you can hear, you're able to hear. No, it is also wherein you can able to talk. It's because of your temporal lobes. You have there your memory and language. So it is near in your Wernicke area. The parallel area, what do you call that? So your temporal lobe is called Wernicke area. No, you know the different parts already of your brain, the areas. What are the other areas? Your Wernicke area. Maybe we can just take that up later, no? So first speech, you call that Wernicke area. So your occipital lobes, no? It is the rearmost portion of your brain, as I've said, it for the visual processing area. So as if there are wires going to your occipital lobes, and if there are impaired wires going there or nerves, your occipital visual is being impaired, no? So that's why in the regeneration of your what do you call that? That connects your occipital lobes to your eyes, you cannot anymore see, no, because of regeneration. But when it's just in your eyes structurally, you can easily treat that, no? So you have there your corpus callosum fiber bundle in the brain that connects the two hemispheres together, the left and the right hemisphere. So what you call that? The corpus callosum. So do not forget that. Then you have your diencephalon, no? So it is where your thalamus are located. So your thalamus is the one that filters your sensory information, controls your mood. No? So if you're sad, if you're lonely, if you're happy, and your body movement. No? So sometimes, of course, when you're sad, you don't want to talk, you don't want to move, you just lie down. That is because of your thalamus. No? Then your hypothalamus, this is the central control for pituitary gland. No? Maybe you recall, you can take it up later, your pituitary gland. What is the function of your pituitary gland?
It controls your growth. It releases growth hormone po that controls your growth, and also antidiuretic hormone.
Yeah, so it is in your hypothalamus, no? Central control for pituitary gland. So they are the one, your hypothalamus is the control for pituitary function, no? It regulates your autonomic, emotional, endocrine, and somatic function. It has a direct involvement in stress and mood states. So your hypothalamus is very important because when you are in love, it is your hypothalamus. You cannot say, I love you at the bottom of my heart. You can only say, I love you because through my hypothalamus. No? Because it is the one that regulates your emotion. No? And when you are stressed, because you had a breakup with your girlfriend and boyfriend, your hypothalamus, you get reminded that your hypothalamus is the one controlling. So you know already, you can easily associate that when you have your examination. When you are stressed because you had a war with your fight with your girlfriend or boyfriends or parents or anybody, it is your hypothalamus. No? So associate that so that it would be easy for you to remember during examination. No? Stress and mood states. Mood states meaning when you are happy, when you are sad. No? For example, when you're, some of the females, when they are having their menstruation, you know, sometimes your mood changes. You're sad, you know. But when you have money, when your score of your grades are high, so your mood is elevated. No? That is your hypothalamus. No? Then you have cerebellum, no? At the back of your brain below, no? It regulates equilibrium, your muscle tone, your postural tone, postural control, fine movement, and coordination of voluntary muscle movement. So that's why when your cerebellum is being destroyed or you are being punched from the area of the cerebellum, you get uncoordinated, no? And you cannot stand, no? Your posture. So you just be reminded that it is always the cerebellum that controls your posture as well as the coordination of your voluntary function, no? Or movement. Your pons, it's near the cerebellum, relay station between cerebrum and your cerebellum. Where is your cerebrum located? Where is your cerebrum located? Cerebellum, it's under your parietal lobe, your cerebrum. Where is your cerebrum?
Forebrain.
Where?
Forebrain daw.
Forebrain. Where is that part of the brain?
Frontal.
Frontal? Sige, you try to reminisce those, but cerebellum is at the back, no, of your brain. So these are your pineal glands, pituitary, the growth hormone. You have your cerebellum, you have your pons, medulla oblongata, so elongated, no? Below your pons is your medulla oblongata, then your spinal cord. So parang connected lang sila. Madali mag-memorize. So you see, medulla oblongata controls control of skeletal muscles. balance, coordination, regulating sound impulses in the inner ear. So you can observe that medulla oblongata has a function of your inner ear. It is not only per se that it is inside the ear, it is only the ear, but the function, the impulses is the function of your medulla oblongata. Regulation of automatic response such as heart rate, swallowing, vomiting, coughing, and sneezing. So it is part of your medulla oblongata. Parang automatic function, ba? Swallowing, vomiting, even if you don't want to vomit, it's just go out from your mouth. Coughing, if you don't want to cough, you seem to cough because of your medulla oblongata, no? Conscious control of skeletal muscles also. Then you have your reticular formation. It's important in arousal and maintaining consciousness. So when you're alert, it is your reticular formation. Just reminded, reticular formation, alertness. Reticular R, alertness. So when you memorize, see to it that you try to associate with the particular words, reticular R, alertness. No, so it will be very easy for you to memorize. So activating system is control all cycle functions, respiration, no, your heart rate, no, reticular formation. So you can see that. So it's just very near. This reticular formation is a complex combination of your what you call that, your nerves, which function as for arousal and your alertness. Then you have your basal ganglia. Your basal ganglia, it controls your muscle tone, your activity, your posture. So you can see that, no? Your muscle movement, it starts with your medulla. Then it functions your basal ganglia and inhibit unwanted muscle movement. So it's the basal ganglia that mostly works for your muscle movement, your posture. Then you have your substantia nigra, produces dopamine, is connected to the basal ganglia. So dopamine, what is the function of your dopamine? Later, we will go to the function of your different neurotransmitters. Then the limbic system. So you have the limbic system. The limbic system, you are your amygdala, you are your hippocampus, no? Your amygdala mediates and controls major affective mood states. So we are talking mostly here of your mood, of your behavior, because this is the functional, no, part of your brain with regards to your behavior. No? So also it affects also your mood, no? So your thalamus, your hypothalamus, no? Friendship, love, affection, fear, rage, aggression, it is the function of your amygdala. No? So when you love, no, so it's there. No? When you are angry, it's because of your amygdala. No? You aggress, it's because your amygdala. No? Your hippocampus, you have your memory, particularly the ability to turn short-term memory into long-term memory. So remember, your hippocampus is for memory. No? Hippocampus, memory. So when you examine, we will have an examination. What is the function of your hippocampus? So remember letter M, memory. No? Turn short-term memory into long-term memory. So this one, since it is the function of your memory, That is the, when somebody, you have an Alzheimer's disease, no? You forget, you're forgetful when you get old. So that is, the hippocampus is already parang regenerating. So you cannot anymore remember. That is because of the function of your hippocampus, because your hippocampus is not that active as when you have when you are still young. No? It reduces its function, no? Parang nag-shrink. So you cannot remember anymore. So you have your protection and blood supply of your brain, no? So meninges, they are recovering of your brains, the dura mater and the pia mater, no? So the cerebrospinal fluid, there are two main functions: shock absorption and mediation of blood vessels and brain tissue in exchange of nutrients. So you can now remember that your cerebral final fluid is very important for your absorption in your brain. It's because of the two main function of your cerebrospinal fluid. It's there in your brain has an exchange of nutrients, your cerebrospinal fluid. So that is the great function of your fluid for nutrition of your brain. The circle of villus, these are connected to your carotid arteries and your balsar arteries. No? So you have your blood-brain barrier. It protects the brain from chemicals in the blood made up of tightly packed endothelial cells, capillaries, making it difficult to penetrate. So sometimes there are fluids or anything that goes into the brain, but not all are very essential to your cerebrospinal fluid or to your brain. That's why you have the so-called blood-brain barrier. So it protects the chemicals in the blood. So you have the neuron. What are the parts of the neuron? What are the parts of the neuron? This one? Your nucleus. What else? Axon, major part.
Dendrite.
Dendrite. Then
Myelin sheath.
myelin
sheaths.
covering. Yeah, the covering of your, this one is the axon. Then it functions for rapid transmission, your myelin sheath. So these are your function of a neuron. You have the resting potential, you have positive, negative charges, you have gated channels, sodium, potassium pump. So maybe we can, if you want, we can just elaborate the sodium potassium pump. Anybody can remember how is sodium potassium pump being, how is it function? Sodium is a negative charge or positive charge?
Positive charge po, Doc. Positive charge.
Your potassium?
Positive charge also, Doc.
Okay.
Positive.
So you try to recall, or maybe we can elaborate. If you just ask your question later after another topics or after the whole topics that we tackle, no? We will just continue first. But if you have any question, we can talk it later or after, before we can start another lecture, no? If you wanted to have any clarification. So So that is synaptic transmission. You have here postsynaptic area, the presynaptic, the postsynaptic here. So it is where the neurotransmitter, lobat